It's Judy on the radio, building dreams and achieving more, telling it just like it is. Most of all, keeping it real. Are you ready for real talk? Changing lives and communities. Real talk. Saving all our families. Real talk. Bringing hope for you and me. Real talk. Real talk with Judy. Real talk with Judy on the radio. Real talk with Judy. Real talk with Judy on the radio.
Good morning and welcome to the Real Talk with Judy show. I am your host, Dr. Judy, and I'm so glad that you have joined in. Hello, Carolyn, and to everyone who will be joining in, thank you so very much. We're glad to have you this morning. Thank you for being with me today, Tuesday, February the 16th, 2021, right here on Hallelujah 95.3 FM, Facebook Live, Instagram, and YouTube. Take a few seconds on Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube and give me some hearts and like. Would you please go ahead and share right now? Go ahead and share. I promise you, this show is going to be electrifying. It's going to add some good thoughts and stuff to your mind. So go ahead, if you would, please share. I promise you, it's going to be worth the sharing. If you're on the radio or at your desk or wherever you are, hurry up, please. Contact your family and friends, call, text, email, and let them know that Dr. Judy talking about real issues with real people who have been there and done that, and they're offering real solution and real suggestion, and keeping it real is on the air with the Real Talk with Judy show. So hurry up so they don't miss anything as we get started. If you have not subscribed to my Real Talk with Judy YouTube channel, I'm going to invite you to do so right now at Real Talk with Judy Live Radio. Also, if you have not yet liked my Facebook page, I'm going to ask you to go ahead and do that. Also, my YouTube and my Instagram page. Please do it now. Hello to my mama. Hello, mama. I want to thank you so very much for tuning in. That's Mother Irma, Dr. Hunter Weston in Fort Lauderdale. I want to thank you for tuning in. She is the reason I am who I am. And to my awesome and amazing husband, Superintendent Gerald Mandrell, Senior Pastor of Life Changers, thank you. Here's the reason I get to do what I do. And to my amazing team who helps me deliver an award-winning show every Tuesday and on special edition. Thank you so very much. And to you, the greatest audience anywhere. Thank you for tuning in again. I see you, Fort Lauderdale, Scotland, South Carolina, Texas, Atlanta. Thank you all so very much for tuning in. And to Angus, I see you, Angus Holden in Scotland. Thank you for being my UK PR director. He's the UK PR director. Thank you, Angus, so very much. And to all the business sponsors, I want to thank you so very much for joining in, for investing and becoming partners with the Real Talk with Judy show. Thank you so very much. And because of you, I get to keep the wheels moving. If you all will, just look, and the business partners will be scrolling across the bottom as we continue this show. I personally invite all of you who are not yet become a business investing partner to do so. Invest in the Real Talk with Judy show. Go to my webpage, www.realtalkwithjudy.com, for more information. For the month of February, we are dealing with the series, The Power of the Black Family. The Power of the Black Family. And my co-host has been and is the most phenomenal woman around. And we want to introduce her again. She is the director of membership and engagement at United Partners of Human Services Incorporation. Has extensive experience in nonprofit management, community engagement, leadership, and program director. A foster home supervisor at the age of 22, worked at Pace Center for Girls for 15 years, and she helped expand the program from serving 45 girls to 70. In 2016, she was awarded the Department of Juvenile Justice Leadership Award. She received the Unsung Shero Award from the Oasis Center for Women and Girls. 2018, DJJ awarded her the Outstanding Service to Youth and Families Award. 2018, Pace presented her with the statewide Creating Partnership Award. 2020, she received the Golden Ace Award with one of TCC Women History's honoree, one of Tallahassee 25 Women You Need to Know. She is a member of Leadership Tallahassee Class 34 and currently on several board of director. She is the chair of the Tallahassee-Leon County Commission on the Status of Women and Girls. She is married and she has one son. In her free time, she enjoys thrift store shopping and reading. Welcome back, my February co-host, the amazing, my friend and sister girl, LaShawn Gordon. LaShawn, welcome.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you, Pastor Jay, for that introduction. I'm always like, who is she talking about? But this is part three, and so we are excited about this show today. I worked in education for many years, so whenever we can bring passionate educators together, it always excites me. So, welcome back, and thanks again, Pastor Jay, for having me.
You are absolutely phenomenal, LaShawn. You have helped me navigate three great shows in February, and I want to say thank you so very much. I have two, as LaShawn just mentioned, two passionate educators, two powerful guests for today. And their bio, I'm going to read quite a bit of it, is because we need to see more, and that's why I really read LaShawn's bio. We need to see our children, our families need to see before us Black educators and Black people who have accomplished a lot. It gives hope because what you see before you, you can become it. My first guest is a native of Miami, Florida, where he first received his musical inspiration during his early years of education. He majored in music to cultivate the gift that God has given to him to touch the lives of others. He received his bachelor's degree in music from Florida Agricultural and Mechanical University, where he was a conducting student of Dr. Julian E. White and Dr. Shelby R. Chipman. He received his master's degree in educational leadership and his doctorate of education degree in higher education. He has received countless awards for his musicianship, leadership, and commitment to service. He was named in Who's Who Amongst teachers and received a proclamation from the city of Miami mayor for his excellence in service among many other honors. He has served as director, and I didn't know that he was all these directors of band. That means that he can dance. So he has served as director of bands at Bellevue Middle School in Tallahassee, director of bands in the PAVAC. He's going to tell us what that is, department chair at Miami Northwestern, and most recently, director of bands at Barron Collier High School, where he developed it into one of the finest band programs in the country. Bands under his direction consistently earn superior ratings at all levels of evaluation. In addition to earning a superior ratings at the state contest, band assessment, and consecutive auto awards in 2014, he became the only director in the history of Collier County Public Schools to have three consecutive superiors at the Florida Bandmaster Association state concert. Bands under his leadership have performed for the President of the United States, President Barack Obama, the Latin Billboard Awards, Governor Rick Scott's inaugural parade, the NFL Super Bowl, Carnegie Hall in New York, Grand National Adjudicators Invitational, and was recently invited to perform as a featured band at the prestigious Music for All Bands of America. My, he is an active adjudicator and highly sought guest conductor and clinician. He has served as an administrator in Lee County, Jefferson County, and currently he served as the proud principal of R. Frank Nim Middle School. He is a member of the Florida Bandmaster Association, Florida Music Education Association, Florida Association of School Administrator, Delta Epsilon National Honor Society, National Association of Secondary Principal, and the National Education Association. He serves on the board of the Florida State University Educator Preparation Advisory Board. He is an ordained elder, an active member of the Family Worship and Praise Center. He is married with 3 children, Dorian, Diane, and Dion. Please help me. Oh, he forgot to mention he is a master cook. Yes, he loves to cook. Please help me welcome my guest, Dr. Benny Bowden.
Thank you so much. Halfway through that, Doc, I was like, all right, let's get to the end. I don't like to hear about myself. It is an absolute pleasure to be with you this morning. I am a proud supporter of Dr. Judy and all that you do in this community. I often hear in college, we stand on the shoulders of giants, and you're definitely a giant in our community. And I am so proud today to talk on the radio show, on your radio show, and all that you continue to do for our community. So there are many of us. When I came to college, I have to say this really quick. And when I came to college, you was one of the first people that I got connected to. So all of us come to college. You know, you that broke college kid. I was that child. I came and got fed spiritually, and then she fed us in the natural, collard greens and smothered this and smothered that. And so look at us now. That's because of the fruit of you and Pastor's hand. And I just want to say thank you.
Wow, thank you so very much, Dr. Bowden. I tell you, and you all would come, we would have church.
Yes,
That was funny. We just enjoyed ourselves. And today I am so proud just to see everything that you accomplished for our Title I schools.
Yeah.
Our Title I children. They have an opportunity to be the president of the United States of America or the vice president because we got great leadership like you. And my next guest, she is a native of Tallahassee, Florida, and she received a bachelor's of education from the University of Florida, Florida Agricultural and Mechanical University. She has the Master of Education, also received from Florida A&M University, Educational Leadership Certification from Florida A&M University. Man, she's a rattler to her heart. I love it. She's been an educator since 2003 in Gadsden County, Duval County, and Leon County schools. Her last 8 years have been in the Leon County School Administration as an assistant principal. Currently, she's in her 4th year at R. Frank Nims Middle School, serving as the assistant principal of administration under the leadership of Dr. Benny L. Bowden. She's certified in educational leadership, elementary education K through 6. She is a member of the Tallahassee Alumna Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. She's a legacy member and current financial secretary of the Tallahassee chapter of Jack and Jill of America Incorporated. She's a legacy member of the Tallahassee chapter of the Charmettes Incorporated. Her heart beats, and we all who know Janelle know this for true. She has her heartbeat with 2 pulses here on this side of heaven. Is number 1, the one and only Mr. Donovan Joseph Parrish, who is an 8-year-old second grader at Leon County School, Appalachian Tapestry Magnet School of the Arts and Digital Academy. And for her father, the one and only, my brother, Mr. Joseph Bullitt, the program director of WHBX 96.1 Jams, a Cumulus radio station located here in Tallahassee. He is the voice of the Marching 100 for 40 plus years. And not only that, he is the voice of Tallahassee and this region all around. She has an angel in heaven, her mother, Mrs. Carolyn C. Bullard, whose prayers are yet and still being manifested daily as she walks this journey of life that God has given her. She enjoyed traveling and relaxing in new and exciting places. Amen. And there is nothing about her that is traditional. And one thing she loved herself, some of her. She loved herself, some of her. I love that. She's been raised in and on the core foundational Christian values and belief. Her home church is Bethel Missionary Baptist Church under the stellar leadership of Dr. Reverend R.B. Holmes Jr. And she says she's striving each and every day to hear her father say, "Well done, thy good and faithful servant." Want to help me welcome the one and only Miss Janelle Bullard.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for that introduction. Mother Judy, as I like to refer to you. I have lived vicariously through you, through the airwaves and things like that. And I've always said, listen, look at all those nice people on her show. Would have never dreamed I'd be sitting here, but God has a plan. So
That's
thank
right.
you for remembering and encouraging and also giving us the opportunity for today. So I am duly excited as
And
we get started on this.
I am excited, Janelle, because two of the most prominent people I believe in this city when it comes to dealing with education and different things are you and Dr. Benny Bolden. You all have done some wonderful things, and I love NIMS. Just to see the turnaround, just to see parents getting involved, just to see how you all, I had the opportunity to see how you all relate to children and how they run up to you, how they respect. I mean, I, I can think of no other two people to be on here than you all. And today, again, to all of our audience, thank you. I know we have quite a few educators on here as audience guests. I want to thank you all. Nathan Cohen, thank you. Cindy, that's my sister from Scotland. She's excited too. We have my mom is on here, educator for over 50 years, and so we're getting ready to go. Today, our
Great.
talk will focus on Black educators, necessary teachers in our Black community. Necessary teachers in our Black community. Just when you hear that, what do you all think about?
The first thing come to mind is representation matters. It's important that we have a voice or a seat at the table. I'm proud at my school in terms of just looking at male, African American male teachers. 26% of my staff is made up of that. But when you start looking at our full staff, custodians, paraprofessionals, because I often say that everybody matters in this idea of educating our children. And so if you look under that umbrella of representation matters, 40% of my school have Black males here. So our kids can see, regardless of where you are and what's going on. I know my school is geographically located on 723 West Orange. And I often tell the students, the hood is where we live. It's not who we are. And so scholars reside here. And so that's how we approach them every day as scholars. And so that idea, I think representation matters. It's important for us to give them an image to look for. I was watching a show, Quincy Jones, and he said for the first 7, 8, 9, 10 years of his life, he wanted to be a gangster because that's all he saw. Yes. And so it's important for us to give our kids an image of being something different. And as you said earlier, Dr. J, our students can be the president, but they have to have presidential material in front of them to push them towards that. And so that's the idea.
That was really good. I want to ask Miss Bullock to piggyback on that a little bit, in terms of representation, because one of the things that you all have done is really shifted the culture to a family like atmosphere. And there's a chemistry between you all that's very authentic and is really important with administrators. So, Miss Bullitt, if you can just kind of talk a little bit about, the strategy and the shift in the culture, and just incorporating that family vibe and that representation.
Sure. I think the biggest piece is just letting our students be able to see true family, because every family, family is a family. We get along sometimes we don't, but guess what? When we are in front, it's a united front. And I think our kids have to understand how to work through. Sometimes there's conflict. We can laugh together, but then we also have to learn how to go through and struggle together. And I think that's what builds the strongest foundations. If you think about any family that you know of, the conflict makes you stronger. Sometimes the grief makes you stronger, the lessons that you learn. And that is just something that we pride ourselves, not only as an administration team, but we hopefully that's infectious to our students as they see us. So sometimes you may come in our office and it may just be, hey, how you doing? How's your day going? Or if there's something else that we do need to address, we're able to do it in love and respect, and we're still able to go out and still tell the world that R. Frank Nims Middle School is the best middle school here in Leon County Schools. And I will say that very proudly because we've earned that.
Represent, represent.
And I would agree with you 100% that you all are the best middle school in Leon County, Gadsden County, Jefferson County. I would say in this region, because I'm watching you all do this thing. You all are not just talking. You said you got 20% black male teachers. That is awesome. 40% black males attending your school. I've had the opportunity to speak there, I think, 3 times in a row. And to see how you all are imaging greatness before these students, and how do you get them to buy in into what you are teaching as far as the images that you're putting before them, the image of family, because some of them, you all are the only family they know. They love coming to school because they get that family. You all are instilling into them law, doctrine, I mean everything. How do you get them to buy into this?
Well, it was important for us to, when I first became not only assistant principal, what people don't know is me and Janelle started out as assistant principals together here at the school. She was here a year before me. And because of the foundation we had, that relationship that we had built even as colleagues together, it still boiled over into the idea even when I became a principal. But the idea here was to change the perception of what people saw about our Frank Nims Middle
Yes.
School. The perception of our schools was really bad when we got here. And so and the kids felt that coming to the campus. They felt the stigma of that school. And so it was important for us to deal with that. And you get buy-in by showing them you simply care, you simply love, you simply want them to be all that they desire to be. It's one thing for us to tell them that they can be. It's another thing for us to support that idea. We give them a voice, we give them a platform, and then we bring in people. We did an event that Dr. J just finished talking about, our Girls Magic event, and we was talking about fixing a young lady's crown without telling everybody else her crown is crooked. And it's important for us to do that, to teach women how to treat other women, how to treat men, how to be men. And so when you bring the community out, you bring 500, 1,000 men out here to tie a tie. That's the most sacred thing about a young man moving from a boy to a man. It's the tie that symbolizes. It's different. You go from using the pants and your pants below your belt to pulling up your pants and putting on the tie. It says, I have now moved into a manhood that you have now, put that road in front of me that I now can be a better person, a better man, a better community man. We make sure that they get to class on time. Why? Because if they late to class, they're going to be late paying their bills. They're going to be
Come
late
on.
being a father. They're going to be late. And so those are the things that we think about in here, because we have to push that narrative. If you're going to change the community, don't go out there. Start right here with the 12 and the 13 and the 14-year-old that you have in the building. And we try to make a difference, bringing the community to them and saying you can be all that you want to be in spite of the reason of you living right here in what most people would consider to be the ghetto.
The doors of the church is open.
It's time to
LaShawn, I'm about to get up and start running. I'm about to run around.
I saw you. You was about to talk. You about to take off. I did want to ask about parent engagement. Because we all know you work with the kids 6.5 hours a day, and then they have to go home. And you all have done an amazing job engaging your parents. So, Ms. Bullock, can you talk a little bit about, what does that parent engagement strategy look like for you all? Because we have a lot of educators, people that are working towards being administrators on the line. So, can you touch on that a little bit?
Sure. And I think it's an integral part only because our parents are sending us the best that they have. And so what we do is we take what we get each day and we just work on it. We cultivate them in whatever areas. So sometimes it's a case by case scenario. But each case that we deal with, you build a relationship so that if you have to go back to that parent, you set the foundation. So it's not as if you're ever going to talk. I don't think there's a parent on our campus that we know of that we have not had to talk to in some type of way, whether it was just a simple greeting, through email, phone call, things of that nature. And once you have that foundation, I can call and say, hey, okay, I need your help with this, or can you help me? And sometimes they'll pick up the phone and ask us for help. Or before COVID, they would show up. Like how you say, Dr. Judy, Mother Judy, you just ride by. Sometimes parents just want to ride by just to say, hey, y'all okay? How are you doing? And those things go a long way. So when you have different things that may happen in the community, I can go to Publix, I can go to Winn-Dixie, I can go to Dollar General, I can go to Family Dollar, and I see our parents. And I'll talk to them there as well. So it's not just, we're at school, I can talk to you at school, but I mean, we're in the community. We're at the football games, we're at the basketball games, the different athletic events. If they have something up in the local projects, they have invited us down there as well. So, I personally, me and the team go out to homes when it's time to troubleshoot for computers and things like that. So we kind of see our parents in their element, and that's where more level of comfort comes from. Because I can talk to you on the phone all day, but you don't really know what my life is like talking to me on the phone or sending me a text.
Exactly.
But if you're vulnerable enough to allow me to come into your home or to allow us to share time with your family outside of just behind these walls, then once that relationship is there, it only thing it can do is grow. And that's what we've just been doing over the years. Because as you know, they have a child now, but there may be a baby that's in the background. And guess what? That baby's going to end up coming to Barn and then to NIMS. And it just keeps going to Rickards. And then they go up to FAMU and we see them there too. So we just get them when we can.
Yep. I love it. I love it. Dr. Bolden, I want to go back to something you said, and then I'm going to kick it back to Pastor Jay. And that's about the Black male. There's so much pressure in the community to be hard or be this or whatever. And just kind of watching you all over the last couple of years, you really make it okay for young men to allow their human to show. And if you can just expound upon that a little bit, because I think that there's a lot of power in males in education and young men being able to see what being a man really looks like.
Well, the show talks about real people, real issues, real talk. That's the whole premise. And our young men are looking for real, because the street don't give them real. The street gonna tell them it's gonna be straight to the point. And so real knows real. In the Bible, it says that, iron sharpen iron. It's that kind of idea. And so it's important for us to give them real solutions to real problems that they deal with every day. It's different for me to deal with a young man if I don't know what being a single father feels like. I lived that life. I lived in a single home environment. I lived in a situation where it was at risk. I lived in a situation where food was scarce. And so when you know those things, you can speak to those things. And a lot of times our kids, we was having what I consider to be reactive conversations. A child gets shot in the neighborhood and then react, as opposed to being proactive and getting on the front side of that and talking to these kids and said, you sell drugs, why? Well, my mom not home because she got to work 3 jobs and I got to help her put food on the table. So I was doing this to make sure that my little sister and my little brother eat. Well, that's a real conversation, and being able to handle what they're going to share with you. It's that bag lady that Erica Badu used to talk about. Can you handle the bags and what I'm carrying in my life? And so for them to be able to sit down and have that real conversation and not be judged because of what they did, and not be thrown into the system and arrested and things of that nature. There's some things that Janelle Bullard and Julie Lawson and Tiny Haywood and all of this administration team overlook, because we know overlooking it is actually helping.
Whoa. Whoa.
And then we also think about the people who reared us and brought us up. There were some things that had to be overlooked, dealt with, but it didn't have to be put out in the spotlight to build us up so that we can be able to sit in the positions that we're in, to empathize and sympathize with some of our students. And that, to me, really is monumental.
Can you the idea of what that child is now willing to do for you as a result, that you didn't arrest me, you didn't walk out on me, you didn't turn your back on me, you simply turned around, gave me a hug, let me cry, and told me you cared. And then when you can look at them and say, I'm disappointed, that hurts worse than the suspension itself. And I think both of you have alluded to it, Ms. G and Dr. J, is that it's that avenue of support and love. That's what we're trying to create. That atmosphere is become synonymous with success. And if you can create that culture within the faculty, the staff, the students, then we're moving this in the right direction. And then you see what you see as a result about our Frank Mims.
And I'm about to bring y'all an offer.
Listen, we about to go ahead and take them on the road, right?
Right, LaShawn. We gotta
work with. We about to go ahead and start a training program.
Oh, we absolutely need one. And some of the things that you are saying right here, you got Dr. Bowman, I got the power of the tie. Janelle, you keep talking about the image of the relationship. And now y'all talk. I believe that Black teachers relate to Black students better than any other. That's my belief, because you understand where they're coming from. You understand when they come in and they're angry and they're upset. You understand that. You understand that sometimes they're not just trying to be defiant, but there's an underlying motive. There's an underlying things. Sometimes these children come from school and some of them don't eat breakfast, or they may have just seen their mom slapped, or a drug deal go. They like you just said, they just got in themselves from selling drugs or doing something. And Black teachers, I remember I grew up, I went to Parkway Middle School, and we had a lot of low income and different people at that school. Not all of us, and I think that, I don't know, Dr. Bolden, Miss Janelle, LaShawn, I grew up loving the project. That's one place I want. I just like hanging out in the project. My dad used to say, "What's wrong with you?" I'm like, I don't know. I just like the project. It had a family feel. It was, even though I come from a good family, but sitting out there on the car, that music going. I mean, it was just eating whole cake. I learned whole cakes in the project. Because we sat on that car and they would bring it out, put them greens in the bowl. Y'all don't know like this, huh? Put the greens in the bowl, mash that cornbread up. I come home.
Go to work.
Oh, gosh.
Hot liquor.
What you know about that?
I learned that in the project. But guess what? I felt like you all, that I was called to help them see something greater.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt like it had to be a black person who did it. What
Mm-hmm.
do y'all think about that? Do you agree or disagree that there's a element of teaching that our black educators, our black teachers can reach our black students better? What do you think?
There is a connection of African Americans who connect with other African Americans, especially those who have experienced that. But I am one of them that teaches everybody to connect with our kids. We are reading this book as I Wish My Teacher Knew. And what that idea is to take those stories from those kids that talked about some of the things Dr. J just talked about. You watched your mom get beat up, domestic violence in the home, or being molested, or being in a house that you haven't seen your parents, but yet you have to walk your little sister to school and you late every day. This book carries most of those stories. So it's teaching all of our teachers to understand the gravity of what our kids bring with them every day into this building. I often tell our teachers, black and white, the idea is it's the child that you don't really like, not the one that we are easily to follow. I can follow LaShawn Gordon because she got her thing together. I went to her high school graduation. I went to her white coat ceremony because that's the one who was a scholar in school. It's the one that when you see that young man walking down the hallway and you already aggravated, that you now need to go back to your alabaster box and find a different way of dealing with that child, because I wish you knew. That's really what the young man is saying. I wish you knew what I had to bring to school every day. You want me to read and write, but I'm simply hungry. I'm tired. I've been molested all night, and you don't even understand. So yes, it does. It is in perspective. African Americans understand our children, but I think culturally, all of us have a different past, and we all need to be taught how to deal with this level of kid. Now you throw a pandemic in the middle of that, that's a whole different kind of strategy that you got to come up with, because this is all new, And so, yes, I do agree with you that I think African Americans does understand culturally where our kids come from and the things that they struggle with. But I think it's important that we teach all on how to deal with our kids, because poverty has no color.
Mess you up.
That's right.
It has no
That's
color.
right.
And so we all struggle in the idea of poverty. And so at the end of the day, if we're saving them all, we have to come up with strategies on how to catch them all, And so it's that idea of throw that fish net back on the other side. And so it's time to catch some fish. And we often think about that idea. And how you catch fish, you go out there and work with these kids. And you teach all of our teachers how to be productive in the idea of dealing with our kids. Yes, they talk back. Yes, they cuss, but they mama been cussing like a sailor since they were two. They don't have the vocabulary. You're right. And I tell my teachers all the time, that's all she said. You should just come on me. That ain't no cuss out. Let me push play on this recording.
Let me give you some. Dr. Bowden, what is the name of that book?
It is I Wish My Teacher Knew. It's by Kyle Swartz. I Wish My Teacher Knew. And it's a book that indicates different stories of students who dealing with day-to-day issues in a Title I school, to be completely honest. And we bought that book for all of our faculty and staff this year because I wanted them to understand the students and what they was going to be dealing with, not knowing we was going to be pandemic ready too. But that is so important. And then I do want to mention this. We're now on the cusp of a global pandemic. And we told those kids to stay home. A lot of them were home with a uncle or cousin who was molesting them and touching them. And then we kept them in that environment and then told them, oh yeah, you can't go outside and play because something outside is trying to kill you too. There's a level of mental anguish that comes along with all of that we now have to navigate. Education is so much more than just reading, writing, and math now. It is really trying to say, Jesus did it for me, so let me reach way down to pick you up too. It's that same idea. And if you don't create that culture, we'll never save this next dying generation, because we have to be willing to say, I'm the sacrifice, I'm the lamb. You can cuss at me, because behind the cussing, I'm going to deal with the problem so that we can get you to the expected end.
Wow, man, this is powerful. We got two questions. We got questions on here. People want to ask. We want them to get to it. We would, because they're listening, and we're glad they're listening. So we want them to answer. Right before I get to your question, support Janelle, you mentioned about you all go to the home. That is, to me, that is paramount. That is, and you said if they let you in, so it's not like you're invading in their home. Tell me how important it is what you all are doing. I mean, you're building relationship. You just talked about you see them in the mall, you talk. I've seen a teacher at the Dollar Tree tell the parent like, yo, Miss and she knew that girl was talking to her. She knew that thing. And she went down that aisle so fast, she was like, ugh, you know. But you just said that you talk to them anywhere because you're building relationship in the image. Tell me, Janelle, how important it is for that connectivity.
It's very, very, like I said, very important, especially when we're at some of our more vulnerable states. So if you're thinking about it, like Dr. Bolden was saying, we're in a pandemic, you're going to go home, I'm going to give you this computer, and I want you to take this computer home, and then I want you to do all of your work on this computer. So if you have a child where grandmother's taking care of you, or even if it's mom or dad, if you're just not used to the technological advances that there are in available right now, you're at another level of frustration. So on top of everything else that's going on, now you have this device that is supposed to teach you the same way that it was when you were sitting in front of your teachers. So being able to go into the home and they're already frustrated, and you say, can I come in? And they say, well, it's not, I'm okay with that. I'm not looking at that. I'm looking at how I can help. And once you actually go in and you can walk them and some other people that may be in the house through the process. And so now they have a feeling of success. And that's really the same thing that happens to any child. Once they feel as if they're loved, someone is helping them, and that they can move forward from the pit that they already may be in, then that's how it continues to grow. So when your phone calls and says, hey, can you walk me through that again? It's not I'm embarrassed because I don't know something. It's, I really, 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 really want to get this. You've empowered me by coming out here and showing me that this can work. So now what can I keep doing? And that's really how we just continue to build on things to make it more of a success, whether it's digital or whether it is brick and mortar. So some of our kids, when they got the opportunity to come back, oh, they were busting these doors down. I want to come. I want to get in. Please, please, please. And we love that. I mean, that is the goal, but we still have to stay within, the confines of what the CDC and things say. But our kids want to be here. And if they're not here, we're getting to the point where they will turn the camera on. And that goes along with teachers as well. Because while we can work a lot behind the scenes, the teachers are on the front lines for our students. And that just also goes to show, I know we were speaking about having an African-American teacher and things of that nature, but I can tell you that there is something about a person that may not be of African-American descent that works at a Title I school and wants to be there. That's a power machine within itself. And we have some of those here at our school that it can change the thought process of a lot of things when you are with someone and you know that they want to be there. They're striving to understand you. No, they're not African American, but they're striving to understand you enough to be able to teach you to a different level. And the next level, that's something when you see it put together, it brings joy to your heart.
I wanted to ask a question about that. I was going to ask, and then I lost connection. How do you hire for that? So, we've all hired that teacher that, 2 months in, they crying every day and they out the door. But it's really hard to hire for heart. And so, talk to us a little bit about that, because that's one of those things that we're in the middle of a pandemic. You're working at a Title I school with what I like to say, a lot of at-promise kids. Mm-hmm. So, when you all are hiring for heart, what does that look like?
Well, it's funny you would say that because my methodology and my administration team, we all get together to do hires. I don't hire just because I have the authority to do. If you're going to leave, you have to leave effectively with everybody having a seat at the table. And so we all get together. And I often say to the team, and Janelle on here, I don't look for the best resume. I look for the individual who have the heart. And so we do one thing when we get to the end of an interview. We go around the room and they have to give me their explanation about the person, and then we say one word, yes or no. And what we're saying, yes, they have the heart to do this, or no, they don't carry that gene. And so it might be the best person on resume, but if we get around that room and there's more no's in that room, we don't hire them, because you have to have a heart for a Title I school. You have to have a heart for an African American child, either way it goes. Title I or not. There comes a level of heart and grit about this assignment that deals with this level of parenting, this level of educating, this level of mental anguish and trauma that they have to deal with. All of that takes heart. And so that's our strategy here. We always look around. I always say to every person who's ever interviewed for me, we don't look for the best resume. We look for the individual with the heart. And that's what we hire. And that heart comes in so many different shapes, colors, big, tall, white, black, green, fat, skinny, it comes in different various shapes and sizes. And then when you put that together in one salad bowl, my, community eats.
Let's get to these questions right quickly, because I want them to come back. And so the first question is, what kind of strategies do you all give when students are having a hard time with the schoolwork or dealing with the pandemic?
That's an excellent question, and I know B is probably going to chime in, but a lot of our teachers, again, knowing what our kids deal with, they do this free of charge. They don't access. Our math department go live on Zoom and deal with students to come on campus before their contractual duty time. And we're living in a time where, they like, if I'm not getting paid for it, I'm not doing it. But our teachers recognize what we're dealing with. Our ELA department do after school tutoring. So we have kids who are on DA who come to campus in the afternoon, and they stay here to 5:30, 6 o'clock at night, working with teachers who are not being paid to do this job, just to be that level of resource. As Miss Bullock said, they go to the houses. My entire MTSS team, not only my administration team, but the entire MTSS team, that's social worker, that's behavior specialist. They all went out, the guidance counselors, they went door to door. I have an assistant principal here, Miss Lawson, who, it was a beware of dog sign. She all in the back.
I don't care.
So she don't care, black, white, green, because they looking for them. That level of heart, you can't make that up. You can't make that up. And so it becomes an idea of support. And so parents, if we can give you that support in the morning time, in the afternoon, we allow the parents to be on the Zoom. If you need to learn how to effectively teach your child, sit in on this conversation too, so we can tell you the strategies and you can look for those things while you at the house helping your own child. It is that idea of community support, and it takes all of us to really push this. So that's some of the things that we do here, specifically at our school, to help our kids.
And sometimes just listening. We can have a specific problem, but sometimes when parents call or when we're having to call them, just stopping and listening to them helps more than you'll ever understand. You don't have to say not one word, but sometimes they don't have someone that will just listen and not offer an opinion or anything like that, but just to be able to get it out. That kind of starts going on the line of the therapy. We got all kind of titles, but just listening, because you will hear more than you ever can hear when you're trying to respond to something, and then you'll really kind of know how you can respond, and your response doesn't always have to be in words. The next time you see that child, you may be able to offer them something that you heard mom say they don't have, that that we have resources here. So outside of what our teachers and things do, just when we get that phone call, taking ourselves out of it and just listening.
Wow.
That's good. Just listen
That's
without judgment, right? Because that's what get our parents. People judge them, and so they shut down.
right.
Mhm.
So if you're listening out there, thank you for that, Miss Bullard. Just hush sometimes, please.
Sometimes you just have to hush.
Yeah.
Maria Smith has a question for you all. Great show. Being a passionate softball coach, I have seen how far behind our young girls are. How can we get more qualified coaches at our middle schools? The state of Florida have over 50 colleges and universities that give out softball scholarship, but if we are reaching, can y'all see that?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
if we're teaching
Okay.
the basic fundamentals at Ricketts, our girls are way behind. There's a scripture that says you have not because you ask not. I didn't even know you was out there. Call me.
Yeah, right.
That I'm in a seat that I can make things happen. So come on and call me because our girls do need to be. And I'm gonna tell you this. And I'm not embarrassed to say it. I have told my staff, faculty, and staff, if the North Side schools have it, I want it on the South Side. I don't want this school to be any different than any other school in Leon County. If they got Mu Alpha Theta, I want Mu Alpha Theta. They got volleyball, I want volleyball. They got softball, I want softball. Because I want to put our kids at the seat of any table,
Yes.
give them the same accessibility. So if you are a coach and you're looking to coach, please call me. Hey, my school number is 850-617-6161,
6161.
and you can call me. And even if I don't get you here, I'll get you in Leon County somewhere so that you can still be a blessing to our community in that aspect.
Man, see, that's what this is all about. That's what this is all about. LaShawn and I was talking this morning that sometimes people are put in place to help you get there.
Mhm.
Because sometimes we can't get there because they don't know us, but they know the person in place.
Right.
So we want to thank you, Dr. Bolden, for that. Are there students you just can't reach? What do you do in those circumstances?
So yes, we do have a team of individuals, like I told you, a behavior specialist, guidance counselor, all of those assistant principals who go to houses. We have had about 6 kids who we technically just could not find. When you all boil it down to those individuals, and then we have to go a step further. Where is this kid? Why can't we find them? And so then we go to the district level, and then there is some other things and steps that the state requires us to go through. So yeah, we do have those kids that we just simply can't find. And sad but true, we see more of an uptick in that area because of the pandemic. When you are already struggling, and then we had a halt on jobs and employment, and so parents was getting kicked out of homes and because they couldn't pay rent. There's some instances where we was just going anywhere and everywhere to try to find these homes. And some of the things that Ms. Bullard came back and shared with me about some of the homes that we've seen, dilapidated or falling apart. Our kids deal with some real live issues. And so we give out everything from feminine hygiene to coats to underwear to socks. Because our kids fundamentally need us. So yes, we've seen an uptick of that. And so we have our steps and protocols that we do at the school when we can't get to those kids. And then if we can't do it on our level, then it goes to a district level because there's a requirement from the state that kids under the age of 16 must go to school. And so it can really turn into a DCF and things of that nature. And we have those uncommon conversations with those parents and say, listen, I'm not trying to send DCF, but that's the alternative. That road leads to this. So help me help you. And you'll hear where we haven't had a car in 6 months. You'll hear certain things. Yes, my child stayed two outside of the 2-mile radius, but I can't get him there because I don't trust my child to walk down this main street. Well, then we'll get one of them vans and come get your child. Every morning, we'll do those things to make sure that your child is successful. You just simply have to let us know because we coming for you as much as you want us to help you.
What about the kids who don't academically that just not getting it or won't conform to the principles or the rules of the school or uh, they learn to do their hard cussing. What about those students? How do we reach those students?
And I'll
We,
let
we love those a little harder.
you know. You have to work it through. We'll send them through MTSS, which is a multi-tiered system of support. We'll do that, and we'll do whatever we can in order to provide that level of service. Sometimes it's a smaller platform. Maybe they can't handle being in a school of this size, and they have to go to a smaller setting, and that goes through that process. But I'm gonna tell y'all, like I tell my administration team, even Jesus couldn't save them all. Now we're gonna do what we can, but there are some that just don't want to be saved.
And we still hug them.
Yes.
Get them where they need to go, and we love them right to the right place, even if it's not
Exactly.
our Frank Nims. And if we see them again, we still have that relationship where it's not it's just we still love you.
But we got to put you in a predicament to be successful, and that might not be here. We might not be the place.
I love this,
and that's okay. And so we take on that burden. The one thing that we all, the entire administration, faculty, staff, I want to bring kids here. I want to do our best to educate them. I want to feed them and get them back home safe. If we do those things every day, we have had a successful day.
Wow. And this is awesome. Cindy says she would love to arrange international experience for your young people. Is that something you might be interested in? Sometime that experience.
Let me get my passport.
Janelle, you got to go first, right?
I got to make sure everything is okay.
Absolutely, we want to do that. Absolutely. Iron sharpen iron, and you'll get a different perspective on life by tapping to different cultures, different understanding, different ethnic groups. That's how we grow as a community, because I can respect you when I understand who you are and your background and what you've come from and the things, your custom, your way of thinking. We have students here who are Swahili speaking, came straight from Africa to here and put them in a different environment. And so we have to culturally be sensitive enough to handle that. We have a student here who speaks only Spanish, and a teacher who, our Spanish teacher, who on her planning period allows this kid to come to her room every day for an hour to help that particular child who's come to the United States here brand new, don't understand our culture. We'll do whatever we can to bend ourselves over backwards to help every child, regardless of their background. So yes, internationally, and that'll be good with our Law Academy too, with our Law Academy students.
Yeah, let's talk about the Law Academy. Talk about the Law Academy. Man, LaShawn, this is great.
See, we got to expand the time.
Well, listen, you start talking good stuff, I don't mind talking about it, because I hope y'all can get one thing out of us. We are passionate about our Frank Nims Middle School. We love it. I'm just as excited about this as I am about my Christendom. So I can talk about both of them. And so,
and his energy level is the same every day, all day. Sometimes I'll be like, Benny,
Benny, come down a notch, come down. But you can't do that when he's in the parking lot early in the morning watching the sunrise as he prayed for every student, every teacher, and everybody coming on there. I took that picture to keep as an incentive to me not to ever just stop. But let's talk about the law school. Another thing I want to talk about too is parent involvement. I think LaShawn mentioned that early, because it has to be a family thing, and you all are doing a magnificent job. So talk about you see that? You see that?
We're gonna talk off camera. We're gonna talk about law school right now.
Well, I'm going too, so you ain't leaving my dad back too.
Let's talk about the vision. Explain to the people, because we got people in here nationally and everywhere who's listening. Explain to them about the Law Academy, the vision, and what happened there.
Well, coming to NIMS and knowing the situation that we came into. I talked about this earlier about being proactive as opposed to reactive. And so we had a lot of things happening in our community, which you all took the high road and led the pack with marches and things of that nature, with a lot of killings in our neighborhood. But it was equally important for us to not have one conversation, but a continued avenue of conversations to really teach our children about the law. I remember dealing with me and Ms. Bullard dealt with a young lady who son sent some pornography of another child to somebody, and she said, I didn't know that was against the law. And the absence of the law does not constitute that you don't get punished by the same law. So
Right.
ignorance does not get you out of trouble. And so it was important for us to have those pre conversations about the law, and that's how that came about. And I remember talking to my administration team and saying some things that I wanted. We went down to Broward County to visit a program down there, and the closest one of pre-law magnet program in the state of Florida to us is in Orlando. And the idea behind that is we wanted to give our kids the basics of law information. So their 6th grade year, they come in, they learn the foundational truths about law. Their 7th grade year, they sit for our bar exam. It's teaching them law, teach them civics, it teach them all of those things. Then they're free to practice law on our campus. So we built a full courtroom right here on the campus of R. Frank Nance. So they 7th grade, they begin to practice law. Students on our campus earn Trojan bucks. They earn money for doing their job, or, walking the lines, or, doing their homework, and teachers give them money in a traditional setting without COVID, of course. But and then we will release the names of all of our acting attorneys who will then be sworn in because they passed the bar by a sitting judge right here in our city. Once they practice law, if a student gets in trouble, say, for instance, they wore a dress code or something of that nature, they can hire one of the attorneys right here on our campus to either go to mediation or present a stay or something of that nature to fight for them. That administrator or that lawyer meets with my administration team lawyers, and we come up with an agreement. If we can't come up with an agreement, we have to take it to court. It goes to trial. And so, and then once we go to trial, the outcome of what the judge indicated, we then give the discipline accordingly. The 8th grade year, once they've practiced law for a whole year, they now can run to be the sitting judge on our campus. Just like when in our society, I serve as the president, so I can either veto or executive order anything. And so, and that's the idea. You put discipline back into their hands, and it changes the idea of just get out and you're suspended and that whole sort of spiel. It's an idea that we're now creating leaders amongst our community of leaders or our scholars to now take this thing serious. If you carry a gun, what does that mean? If you get caught with marijuana, how much marijuana do you have to have on you before you go to jail? If you're going to protest in the middle of the street, is that the crime, or being on the sidewalk the crime? And so we explain those things so that now you can have a voice, but you can do it in the compounds of the law and still be respected for your voice. And so we wanted to do something different in our community, that now we can provide our students with a magnet program that's different than anybody else in the city. We want to be unique. And I tell my staff all the time, I'm okay if people talk about me, good or bad, as long as they talking.
That's it.
I love that. I love that. I love that. Oh my, this is awesome. LaShawn?
I've been ran into another 30 minutes of questions.
We don't have another 30 minutes of questions. And she will, because that's how, she's taught at Pace. She taught at Pace with some of the most, I think, hurtful and saddened children who have turned out to be they don't call them at-risk children. She called them at promise.
Oh, look at that.
Oh yeah, she don't call them at risk. She called them at promise.
Wow.
And that is fantastic. Man, time flies. Time really goes by fast when you're having fun.
It does.
I tell you what I'm gonna do. I don't know how I'm gonna do this, but let's see. I got a challenge for y'all right now. The first person who can type in, you got to be fast. I got to listen to the question because you don't know the question. The first person, the first 2 people who type in the name of the book, it's yours. I'm gonna buy it if I can get it. Dr. Benny or
I got 2 books. I'll bring it to you, Doc.
All right, there it is. The first 2 people who type in the name of the book is yours.
I was gonna
It's yours.
start typing, but that's all
Oh,
right.
not you, not you, not
Oh,
you. We got to get us one, LaShawn. I definitely got to get me one. I
I got
definitely
you,
got to.
Pastor. I
Oh
got
man,
you,
that's
Sean.
oh, that's 4 books. Whew,
Yes.
Jesus. See that, y'all? See.
Have not
All
because
right.
you asked not.
Maria Smith got one.
Okay,
That's the coach. That's the coach, Dr. Minnie.
got it.
That's the coach, Maria Smith. I wish my teacher knew. And who would be the second one before I? Oh, they waited till he does. So well,
Uh-huh.
somebody gonna get it. Better hurry up. Better hurry up.
they typing slow.
Oh, there it is. Kawana's White.
Gotcha.
I wish my teacher knew. Thank y'all. So I mean the book is yours because I think that is a great book to have in our lesson. Dr. Bolden, Miss Chanel, you all are fantastic. Dr. Bolden, one of the things you keep saying, and Janelle said that you're passionate like that. This is you all the time. And Janelle, you're always on the upbeat. You're on the upbeat all the time. And I'm saying I love how you walk into your own because you know your daddy got the whole everybody. Um, he's one of my mentors. He's one of my between he and Doc D, they are my mentors on this radio, helping me to be the best that I can be in delivering what I can deliver to
Well,
the
now I'm gonna
people.
make him a little jealous because this is my first radio interview, so you get that
Oh,
prize.
thank you. So he had done this. Thank you. I got Uncle Joe. I won. I got it first. Dr. Benny, one of the things you keep saying, you never say me. You never say I have done this or you'll say I had the thought and then my team. I mean, you know, because you got to have a leader. You have to have a leader. And a leader extraordinary you are. But you keep talking about your team, your team. You talked about how you and Janelle came together when you both were serving as assistant principals
Mhm.
at NIMS. Um, tell how do you get a group of and you not only mention your assistant principal, you have mentioned everybody. You have mentioned your MTS staff, you have mentioned your teachers, you have mentioned everybody. Tell Give some strategy. And I only got about 3 minutes left or four, then I'm letting y'all. How do you build such a team with a diverse group of thinking people?
Two things I would say is you got to simply get out of the way. Steve Jobs put it like this: I didn't hire the best people to tell them what to do. And I thought that quote was powerful. And I am not one of them that is seeking anything for me, but to gain for us all. And I have to put the team in a predicament where they have the ability to shine and lead. And you're only as good as the people that you have around you. And there's a scripture that says Jesus couldn't do many miracles because of their unbelief. And it's important for me to make sure that the people that I have in my circle, they first believe. And they only do that by allowing them to lead. And that's how I live my life every day. I say this often, you couldn't tell who the principal was from the APs on this campus because I allow them to make a decision. And behind closed doors, I tell my administration team, you'll make a decision. And I might think it's wrong, but I'm going to support you because you made the decision. You made the decision.
Wow.
And so it's important for us to lead in that aspect. That's how you be a charismatic transformational leader, when you allow others to be birthed from out of you without
Oh,
being jealous about their leadership capabilities.
And something he so eloquently left out, he said it in a great way, but he allows us to make mistakes because if you're a true leader, you will be able to come to grips with terms that you don't know everything and that you are going to make some mistakes. But he has a very charismatic way of making that blanket there so that when you do fall, because we will,
Mhm.
he'll, okay, how are we gonna get this together? And then you step up and you step back out because it will present itself again. And that, to me, he didn't say that in so many words, but that has been a leading factor um, in it. Just becoming a better leader
Mhm.
is knowing that you have somebody that's going to be there that not only technically does know everything and has the per se, if you want to say so for stuff, but he still allows you to be who you are, and that has created some of the best memories I know for me, just speaking personally. People say, well, y'all are such good friends. He get on me too. Don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted. But
Probably harder
we're
than
able to
everybody
take it
else, huh?
because there's a relationship there
Yeah.
that's not going to break anything that happens. Nothing's so bad that we just can't get over it.
Yeah, because I know he got to come hard sometime. I know he has to.
Oh, yeah.
I say I know to have this kind of team and you all accomplish such great things. I know he have to put the paddle down sometime, and with that, but that's behind closed doors because he made a statement. Either he or you made a statement that, but when we come together, it's a united front.
Right. Oh, you don't mess with us together now.
Now I can talk about it, but you won't.
You can't talk about it.
But
Listen,
you won't.
but you can't talk about that. That's how
you won't talk about them.
Man, this has been absolutely fantastic. I am honored to have had the two of you on this show. According to what Carolyn stated, I agree. My sister, she said, awesome show. We need more educators with this kind of enthusiasm, care, and concern. And I believe if we had more people in leadership who would bring their team together and to give the passion from their heart, what you all just gave today, our schools will be better, our homes will be better, and our children will be better. I believe that we have to start way early. I like that elementary age.
Yep.
If they get to middle school and things still going, we have to make it work.
Indeed.
And I want to thank you all. I felt your heart in this. I'm going to ask you, Janelle, say some closing words to the audience. And they're going to play this again. Hey, everybody, do me a favor right now while I'm talking to you. Hit share. Just hit share. I wish the world could hear this. I'm going to play this again on my Facebook, on my YouTube. We're going to play this again. This is phenomenal. There's been a phenomenal show with phenomenal suggestion, phenomenal input, phenomenal empowerment. I want to thank you. Thank y'all for sharing. I see you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, just share. Just hit share on your down there. Go ahead, Janelle. Give us something.
Well, I would say for closing, we at R. Frank Nims Middle School, but just firmly believe that don't waste your time trying to judge something from the outside. Learn how to get on the inside so that you can know what's really inside. And that would be the biggest takeaway that I can have, not only for R. Frank Nims Middle School, but for any school, education, as it sounds. Sometimes as educators, we're kind of put up on these platforms, but when you actually take the time to get to know us, to ask us questions, and we are able to reveal our heart to you, you will definitely see different than what someone may have told you. So we are R. Frank Nims Middle School here on the South Side, where we do reside in the hood, but we're not of the hood, and we never will be.
Oh boy, I gotta come get my shirt too. I forget get my shirt. Terrence Booker, who worked at another school, he said that he got to send this show to his coworkers and his principals.
Oh, thank
He
you.
work at another school.
And that's a singing machine there, boy. I done caught a couple of life changes. He done took me in a couple of times. That's a whole nother show, Pastor.
So, Dr. Benny, give us some closing words, and then LaShawn give us some, and then we're going to end this show.
Well, let me just first say thank you so much to LaShawn and Pastor Judy, Dr. Judy. Again, I said before the show started, we stand on the shoulders of giants, and I appreciate the pillar that you have been, Dr. J, as well as pastor in our community, and really leaving breadcrumbs for my generation to follow. And it says a lot. And we only hear because of what you have done and what you continue to do in our city. And I don't never take that lightly. You're so modest. You have never, that's not your personality, but we have to give you your roses, a woman of God. And we appreciate you for what you do in this community. If I can share with you anything, it is our logo, our motto here, which is hope, care, and love. Treat people with the idea of birthing out their hope. Do it with a sense of care. and do it in a way that they walk away feeling loved. Because as Corinthians say, the greatest of all of my gifts is not to preach, teach, or empower. It is the ability to love. And that's what I'll leave you with today.
Thank you so very much, Dr. Benny. My sister from Scotland want to know, is there a website or something she can follow you on?
Yeah,
Facebook or anything?
yeah, my Facebook is Benny L. Bolden Jr. You definitely can follow me there. And the school, if you go to leoncountyschools.net, you can follow us there on our website. We do have a R. Frank Mims Middle School social media page on Instagram, TikTok, all of it. All the ones that the kids want to see, we got them all. So follow us, stay in touch, and continue to pray for us.
Thank you so very much. LaShawn?
So I'll make it quick. So thank you to you both. I've always said the school is one of the biggest nonprofit agencies around, and you all definitely do what you do with a social service mindset. So it was a pleasure getting the chance to know you all a little bit better. So
Yes.
thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
And again, thank you, LaShawn. Thank you, Janelle. Thank you, Dr. Bolden. Today has been absolutely fantastic. To all of the Facebook listeners, the YouTube, Instagram, and radio, I want to say thank you all so very much for your comment. Thank you for receiving my guests today and what they had to say, and my co host. Thank you all so very much. Guess what? I have another show coming on at 2 p.m. It's a special edition. It's going to be Bishop Darrell Hines. He's one of our general board members of the Church of God in Christ. He's from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Yeah, yeah, and he's going to be on. This man is phenomenal. Strategic planning, the navigation to success. He's doing an absolutely phenomenal job. He will be on. Yesterday, I had on Bishop Daniels. The day week last week had on Bishop Drew Shear, and today he's coming on. He's running for the general board of the Church of God in Christ, the highest board in our church, but it is going to be phenomenal. And then tonight at 7:30, to me, Bible study. This man right here can take the scripture and he just walked through it.
Yes,
My
he
mom,
can.
my mama said he does it without even humming. She said everybody is not anointed to teach without all that music behind them and all that noise.
Right.
You can't hear them close. That's what my mama said. She said you got to hear them close. So tonight he's gonna talk about take heed to what you hear.
Oh my.
But what you hear is important because faith comes by hearing,
Oh my.
hearing by the word of God. But check this out. So does doubt and fear.
Oh
Wow.
my.
So you got to take heed to what you hear. So I'm excited. Thank you all again so very much for being on. Again, to you, Dr. Bolden, to you, Miss Chanel, to you, LaShawn. And I'll come over and get my book. You could me, I don't even have to come in. Just bring it to all four of them. I would come. Oh, four. Y'all saw that? LaShawn, you saw that? We got our book.
In by my office.
I will bring it to you
Okay.
outside.
Okay.
And Dr. Bolden, it ain't your book, but sign it for us.
Okay.
Say something
Wow.
to us.
I will.
And Moria Smith and who was it? Kiwanis? You all could just contact me and I will get your book to you. I will make sure you get your book. Again, thank you all so very much. Priscilla, thank you. Priscilla is our marketing director here, and I want to thank you so very much, Priscilla, for making all of this happen. And again, to each and every one of you, thank you for being a part of the Real Talk with Judy live radio show. And I will either see you today at 2 or next Tuesday. Next Tuesday, we're going to talk about uh, ordinary marriages doing ordinary thing or something like that. It's gonna be good. I got Pastor Antoine and Lady Elwood on. I have Elder Waddell and Carolyn Waddell on, and I have Rudy Ferguson and Lady Ferguson on. So that's gonna be good. We're gonna talk about marriage a little bit and see how that works in the black community. I love you all. Again, this is Real Talk with Judy, doing real issue with real people with real solutions. God bless you all.
Bye.